Hello everyone, Markiron here. Welcome back to Markiron Shipyard, Episode 4. Today, I want to show you a little bit of progress that I made over the last little while. As you can see from here, I've grown out in a couple different ways, done some passage. Let's take a closer look. A little bit of falling, splat. Or that's what would happen. So I've gone through and made all this nice little round corridor. I'm sure we could use this as a running track if we needed to. The port and starboard arms of this hallway I've kind of fleshed out a little bit. There'll be a door here. Same thing on the other side. Fore and aft, however, are a little bit different from that in that they'll have rooms off to the sides here, but they have basically vertical access points. So at the aft, there'll be a little bit of an observation room here, and fore, there will be just a straight vertical axis, because out front of the ship here, there'll be a little bit of viewports and whatnot, but there'll also be the main torpedo bays here and here. So they're going to obstruct a large view of the ship. I've also decided that for the first little while, I'm only going to put down horizontal plating where I need it to make these walkways. That'll leave a little bit more of the ship open for X-ray. I'm also going to leave all walls that aren't part of the central area down at one high. When I get up higher and start filling things in, I will establish the walls. But if I found that if I need to change design, like with these walls, I actually changed this pattern here probably about a dozen times. So if I keep the walls at one high, it's much easier to change them later if I need to. It's a little harder to build off of, but all my deck plate will spread out from central points, namely this main turbolift. So I'll make do. It'll also let me kind of keep that X-ray vision for you guys, so you can keep up. I've also decided, once again inspired by Direwolf 20, every 10 episodes or so, I will put up a world download for you. So if for some reason you really like this and want to take a look through it, you'll be able to do that. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to set up a forum somewhere or what have you. Probably do a shared Dropbox for the file. I'll also include a list of the mods you need and where to get them. Now, obviously, because I did not create these mods, I cannot distribute them to you. You need to actually go to the authors and get them from there. So, today's project is going to be moving up a deck. So right now we are finished on, well, not finished, but we're temporarily done. We've finished G deck. We've done deck F. I'm just going to pop down here to G and take a look around. So this is fairly enclosed, and it'll be kind of one of the last really enclosed decks until we're ready for beautifying and finishing touches. You also may notice that I've modified these with panels instead of full blocks. Kind of opens it up a little bit more, and it makes it actually feel like I'm getting a lot more mileage. Even though I can't necessarily place items there, I can walk there, which gives it a little more open feeling. Got this little walkway. Once again, there's all sorts of rooms and whatnot that'll go in here, but these are the main corridors. These are the areas that, can't be done without and let you get from major point to major point on the ship. There's also a series of access tubes and crawlways. Excuse me. And I'm going to actually get deeper into those eventually, but they are going to come a lot closer to when I actually put the final hull plating on, because a lot of them do skirt along the hull plate. So it's a little easier to make last minute adjustments that way. So here is F deck. So let's go up to E. E deck is kind of one of the bigger decks. In fact, if I check my reference here, which I really should do before I hit record, smart old me, that will provide me with, yeah. So deck E is kind of the, I guess you could say, main deck of the ship as far as facilities go. It's the widest point on the saucer section. It has escape pods, officer quarters, crew quarters, cargo bays, sick bay is on this deck, the lower half of main engineering, the primary areas of the shuttle bay. You even have the main struts that connect back that eventually turn into the struts for the warp nacelles. Now, there's going to be a lot of time spent on this deck, but I'm going to do the same thing as I've done with the two decks below. I'm going to do the skeleton frame of all the walkways, all the pathways. And then I'm going to move up. It's not that I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this deck. Quite the opposite. I will be spending a ton of time on this deck. But I don't want to spend too much time just kind of working on that without really knowing what's above it. And plus, I don't want to totally fill it in and blind myself before I'm ready. So, this is another deck with a new position for the turbolift. This one, once again, according to these awesome deck plans by Android Monkey Designs. Once again, if you didn't check the website out last time, check it out this time. You'll like it. It goes right out this way, which wouldn't be a problem for an actual turbolift. Door just opens whichever way it needs to open. However, I don't have turbolifts. Might be an awesome idea for a mod. Might do something with pistons or frames later. But for now, I've got a ladder, and it's in my way. Not anymore. Problem now is, how do I get up? Well, I think I am actually going to alter my entire turbolift design. If we zip over here, this is where the forward turbolift is going to be. And as you can see, I've kind of done a two-ladder construction. This turbolift, unlike that one, which is 3x3 internally, this is actually 2 with a row on each side that's taken up by the wall. So this is actually only a 2x3 space. But by putting the ladders here and using, I believe these are actually even covers, it gives the sense that this is actually a much bigger area, when in reality it's far more compact than my other turbolift. So I'm going to replicate this design all the way over here. I'm just going to pick two sides and rip down both. Now, one of the reasons I want to go this way is, for instance, on this floor, if I have ladder here, when I get to this floor, I can't have a ladder there. So the ladder will only come up this side. And the same thing will apply here. It'll come up here. But on this side, I'll be able to continue the ladder again on this deck. And so on and so forth up. My idea with this 3x3 one is I'll have ladders on all three sides that can have them. So for instance, if I exit 3 decks from this direction, then I will have a ladder up here, I'll have a ladder up here, and I'll have a ladder up here. kind of making a little easier to get around. Might as well actually do this while I'm talking about it. Talk is cheap. But then again, so are blocks. But the idea being is that I can cancel any of the ladders at any time. And yeah, it means I won't be able to take one ladder all the way to the top. But it does mean that I can go top to bottom in the same shaft without having to go up one, run around to the other part of the ship. Because there's only really 3 points of the ship that have turbolifts on them. And they're all kind of on the middle axis. So we're going up here. So ladder. Now once again, there's a door here. So there won't be a ladder here. However, there will be ladder here, ladder here, ladder here. Take the ladder up. Now that we're above this, ladder. Here's a ladder. I've got a ladder for you. Only a very special ladder will do. Something like that. I don't know. I can remember that silly jingle. Anyways. Oh, no. Falling. I don't like to fall. And, you know, that's actually my only problem with heights. I don't like heights. But that's only because of falling. If falling wasn't an issue, I don't think I'd care so much for heights. But, gravity's kind of hard to get away from. So, hey, maybe that's why I like space so much. Yeah. Thoughts for a random brain. Anyways. We have turbolift. Comes out this way. Now, the neat thing about this deck, this forward arc here is the same for this deck below and this deck up top. So for both E and F. But when you get to here, E deck goes straight back while F deck turns. So the cool thing here is I've got what I need to right here for this. So I will just put this in. And once again, I'm only going to enclose the areas I need to build the deck. The areas that don't need to be covered yet, I will leave blank because, well, once again, I want to be able to see through them, and I want you guys to also be able to see through without need for X-ray mods or anything like that. Because, I mean, I guess with an X-ray mod, you'd probably see right through the whole ship because there's not going to be any ores or anything like that in here. Well, at least, maybe I'll put some in the geology lab. That could be cool. Having a couple little Easter eggs. Well, you early listeners will have one up on everyone else then later on.